In January, the Haitian capital of Port-au-Prince was hit by a massive 7.0 earthquake, and the city was leveled. Over a tenth of the Haitian population became homeless virtually overnight, and the cost to rebuild was equivalent to the entire Haitian GDP. Aid agencies from all over the world flooded the capital with emergency assistance. But there was no 911 system in place, no way for rescue groups to find out who needed help and where. So a bunch of organizations came together and built an SMS hotline. People could text in requests for help to a free number, 4636, and messages would be streamed directly to groups like the Red Cross. And we called the organization Mission 4636. But we hit a roadblock. All of the messages were in Haitian Creole, and computers, it turns out, suck at translating Creole into English. And so aid workers would have had to respond to messages that made absolutely no sense. Some might have some correct information, but most would be missing the key data needed to perform a rescue, especially neighborhood information and geo-coordinates. Thankfully, the US State Department stepped in and offered financial backing for the project. There was talk of outsourcing the translation of text to humans rather than letting calls for help go unanswered. Someone found an outsourcing company in Miami that had hired a group of Haitian expats that could do this type of work. At the same time, we noticed that thousands of the messages that came through weren't requests for water or aid, but were actually requests for jobs. People knew these messages were reaching aid groups, which were the biggest employers after the quake, and many of them wanted work. Half of the Haitian population is literate, and at the same time, 80 of them live on under $1 a day. Donors spend millions of dollars on basic education, but there are few jobs available for this newly educated workforce. The surplus labor problem became even worse after the earthquake. So my company, Samasource, decided to set up a computer center employing 50 local people. We ran a training at 8 p.m. on a Sunday night 2 weeks after the quake with a packed room full of workers in rural Haiti. They all showed up eager to learn and wearing their nicest clothes. And we showed them to use a web-based translation tool. We stuck a satellite dish on the roof, which shared space with a family of 5 and cook stoves, put some batteries in a closet, and the setup actually worked and generated 3 weeks worth of power during the monsoon season. We set this up in a town called Mirabelais, about an hour and a half outside the capital of Port-au-Prince. About 15,000 messages were translated and coded using this interface in the 6 months after the earthquake. 10,000 of them were mapped using information from within the text, and this geotagging was critical because we couldn't get GPS data from the carriers. Most maps were out of date. The service made a huge impact on the ground. That first text that I showed you was actually from a woman who went into labor, and thanks to our translators, within minutes she had a Coast Guard volunteer by her side to help her deliver the baby under a bridge. She might never otherwise have been found. In another instance, 4636 allowed a bystander to alert a group of rescuers that people had been trapped in the Sacred Heart Cathedral, one of the city's most famous churches. Often the messages provided granular details, including specific injuries, so that aid personnel arrived at the scene carrying the right equipment. Accurate, timely translation done by humans resulted in thousands of lives saved and food shortages averted across Port-au-Prince. Rescue personnel had the right information at their fingertips and weren't left to wander the streets looking for people to help. But injured victims of the disaster weren't the only people to benefit from 4636. Workers in a rural part of the country escaped poverty and developed real computer skills. Jerry, for example, told us that finding a job in Haiti, even after graduating from school, is like crossing the Sahara. They were thrilled with the opportunity to help their countrymen and earn money at the same time, some supporting as many as 8 family members. It's important to understand the broader meaning of this project. Most of the Haitian economy is informal. People make their living like this boy, selling stuff by the side of the road or trying to grow crops to sell into local markets. There is severe poverty. And part of that has to do with the land. Over the last 200 years, people have chopped down all of the trees in Haiti to sell charcoal, and this has left the land barren, which is especially apparent when compared to the Dominican Republic, which shares the same island. So how do we provide work to 10 million people in Haiti? Well, here's a picture of the biggest job creator of the last century, the assembly line. Henry Ford's innovation took the production of a highly complex machine and broke it down into small tasks that anyone with a bit of training could do. And this is essentially what our translation project did, but via the internet. One worker mapped, another translated, and the output was sent to the Red Cross. The internet reduced the friction and brought down the cost of collaboration among so many organizations and people. Our center, coupled with crowdsourcing technology, became a digital assembly line. Incoming messages were processed by various people and transformed into usable data for rescue personnel. And we created 50 jobs for a small fraction of the cost of building a factory. Our hard costs were about 25 grand all in for internet power and 25 EPC netbooks, and we were able to harness the brain power at the bottom of the economic pyramid, which normally goes to waste in a place like Haiti. We proved that Haitians could play a key role in solving their own crisis. What happened in Haiti shows the promise of digital work to transform the lives of people living in poverty by including them in the assembly lines of the future, by treating them as part of the solution rather than helpless victims. 4 billion people, like that worker Richard, live on less than $3 a day. Technology offers us a chance to give them work. Thank you.
Well done.